How's it going, everyone? I am back with another GT Online video today. This one is going to be my cars that I want to see the next GT Online update, the Cayo Perico update. Now, these aren't predictions or anything like that, so there's a pretty good chance that you probably won't even really see any of these cars in the next update, but there's also a good chance that you might see like one or two. But I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the Supercars class, and I'm gonna be talking about the two Supercars I think they'll be adding this upcoming update. So as you hear, we got the SSC Tuatara. This is a new, like, American hypercar that just was announced to the public about maybe 2 months or so ago. Now I don't know if everybody knows this, but like there was like a kind of a faulty or something that they falsely claimed that the car could go to some top speed. I think it was like 316 or something miles per hour or something like that. But there was like a bunch of like people going against that and saying that that was false and that wasn't correct, and there were some people doing like some crazy math and calculations to determine that it was actually going slower than what they were advertising as its speed. So Rockstar could do something funny saying that the car has like an extremely high top speed or something like that, or like the speedometer inside of it just has like 300 on it, 316 on it. That'd be kind of funny if they do something like that. But yeah, that's my first prediction for the supercar class. Alright, for my second supercar, I have the Audi R8, which is I want them to add a newer model of the Audi R8. The current one's from like 2008 to 2010. So I want them to add this. Right now on the screen is a 2017 model, and it's not the newest one, but it's my favorite model from like the past few years. And I think it just looks the cleanest and most simplistic to the point where it just looks good. And this is actually like my dream car in real life, so that's the reason why I want them to add. I want to see them add this car in GTA. They just need to redo it. Alright, so here I want to talk about the sports cars that I want to see in the game, and I think this is one that like a lot of people have been wanting for a long time. But this is the first gen NSX, the Acura NSX. This is a kind of a older car, a little bit older than some of the stuff in GTA. That was kind of a weird issue that they did with the Jester and the Supras and the Jester Classic and stuff like that. They named the newest generation of NSXs the Jester way back in like 2014 or something like that, but then they made the Mark IV Supra be called the Jester Classic, but those are two different cars in real life. So they'd have to do something creative with this and call it, because they can't call it the Jester Classic now. They have to do it maybe the Jester Mark II or something like that. They would have to or maybe just completely call it a different name, but that would be confusing to some people, I would imagine. The second sports car I want to see, or it could also be a coupe, really, but it's the car that I think also a lot of people have been wanting in the game. It's the Miata. This is a 1990s Miata here. I prefer kind of just the older, body and stuff of these cars. The Miatas look. I feel like this is a car that a lot of people have been wanting for the years. It's something I've been wanting since like the Casino Heist update, really. I thought it's always been a good choice that they could add to the game. It would be fun to mess around with. You could do a lot of customizations, get a nice big wing on the back of it if you wanted to. But it'd be a cool and just unique car, and I feel like it's just something that a lot of people in like the community have been looking at and wanting in the game. My last car that I want to see for the sports class is a car that I think they just need to redo, and this is kind of like the NSX situation I'm talking about, but it's the new 2020 Mark V Supra. This is just a car that I've been wanting for a while, ever since I saw that they added the Mark IV Supra in the game back with the nightclub update. I've been wanting them to add, this stuff here. Well, in the past, once this car was actually known to the world and stuff like that, I've been wanting this car. But ever since I first saw it, I've been like, man, that would be fun and cool to have in GTA, and I think this would be a perfect opportunity to get it into the game. And I think a lot of people could agree with me on that one. And it would be, probably pretty high up there in the sports class. Maybe not the best, but probably around like maybe top 5, maybe top 7, something good like that, I would hope. And they could, they would probably have to call this the Jester Classic, or not the Jester Classic, but like the Jester Mark II or something, because they kind of mess with them and screwed themselves with calling those cars the wrong names, when that would bite them in the butt in the future, which is coming across now. But let's go ahead and I'm going to talk about the car that I want to see in the coupes class now. Alright, so this is a car that I think is pretty, cool and unique for them to add a new Ubermacht car. This would be, This is the BMW M3 in real life. This is an older model from like the 2000s. Specifically, I think this is the 2003 model that I have up on the screen right now. But this is just a cool, unique car, and it's been a while since we've gotten like a new BMW to the game and something unique. And I'd like to have this in my garage next to my E30. The next car that I want to see in GTA is a car in the muscles class, and this is a car that I've been wanting for this is probably the most wanted car that I want. And I thought we were gonna get it in the summer DLC, but I was, kind of sad that we didn't. But it's the ZL1 Camaro here. The newest Camaro is one from like the 80s or something like that. Basically the Ruiner or the Nightshade, and that stuff's old. And I want something new. It could really be any new Camaro from the past like decade at this point. I just want some type of new Camaro that isn't from the 80s. And I think it could be, top 3 of the muscle cars class, up there with the Hellfire and the Hustler. This next car is something I want them to add in the compacts, and this is a new like Mark II Golf, Volkswagen Golf. This is especially the R32 model right here. I want them to add this because they added the older Golf from in the summer DLC, and ever since I saw that I was like, man, it'd be cool if they added a little bit newer one, maybe like just a new GTI would be alright too. But I want that model specifically because it just seems unique and cool, and it's pretty quick, and yeah, that's just what I want them to add. And I feel like that could be like one of the best cars in the compacts class. The next car I think could be an off-road or just SUVs, since they always add like one random new SUV in the past updates for the past year. They could add the Jeep Trailhawk. This is a nice and like really fast like SUV, and they could add it in the off-road because it's Jeep goes off-road. And they also just add an SUV class, well, that's because this is the model of type of car it is. It's an SUV, but that's something I just want them to see in the next update, and it would be fun. And they could just call it the Seminole off-road or something like that, or they could just call it kind of something like the Trailhawk. They could call it the Pathfinder or something like that. But that's what I think that would be a cool car for them to add in the next update. The last car I want to see in the update is a kind of like just like a meme or something kind of funny, but it's like a 1960s Volkswagen like Beetle. This thing right here, the little bugs, because this kind of fits like the older kind of island theme that we're getting from this. Kind of like older type of sports classics and cars like that. I don't know what class they would put this thing in. They could put it in the compacts, maybe, or put it in the sports classics, even though it's not really much of a sports car. It's really kind of just like a random car. I think it's really just in the compacts, or they might even put it in the coupes. But I think compacts would be the best bet. But those are the cars that I want to see in the next GT Online Cayo Perico update. Now, not all these cars obviously won't be added, but that's not saying that none of these will be. Also, I want to say that these are all just cars that I want to see in the game. They weren't predictions. But I'm sure, one or two of these cars will come into the game. I feel like maybe the Mark V Supra, maybe the NSX, maybe some other cars like the RX-7. Some people I know that's a highly requested vehicle for Rockstar to add, but those are the cars that I want them to add. If you guys have any cars that you think that I didn't discuss that you would like to talk about, put your ideas in the comments down below. Otherwise than that, if you like the video, hit the like button. That'd be much appreciated. Subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.